Hey everybody, I hope all of y'all are having a good day today. I think it's Tuesday evening here in the Philippines. Check out this. Sitting on the side of the road waiting on Lynn. She's back that way, a trail down the way at a hut back there, taking care of some things. I did the video the other day about the hornets and the honeybees, and I told you I was gonna get back ASAP with the remainder of the teachings. And today I just started getting more and more to the teachings. Not many of us, a few of us, but not many know or remember their exact born again date. I remember the day and the hour. I remember it. It was just so amazing. But I've always been that type person to remember dates and things like that. And whenever I experienced what I experienced, and I experienced the change that doesn't come from you, it comes from God. You become a new person. I was like, whoa. You know, it's amazing, and everything was within me. It's like I just knew how I was going to live the rest of my life. It's written on your heart, the way it's written in the Bible, you know. But I actually experienced that before I'd ever read about it or heard about it being written on your heart, you know. And so I went to all these buildings, you know, that identify as churches, and searching for others, you know, because when I experienced what I experienced, June 14th, 2012, started at 11:45 at night. When I experienced that, I was thinking, well, this is what it means to be born again, which it is, because you die and you become born again. That's the only way you can be born again, is if there's a death involved, okay? Well, I started going to these places, and everybody's like, well, you know, what happens to some people, but not everybody. You're just one of the few, you know. And I mean, just you're hearing all kinds of stuff, and then you hear people say, yeah, I'm born again, you know, but there's no testimony. You know, there's no story of their life just changing, and, you know, I was this way, and now I'm not, and it doesn't come from me, you know. So it's like, what do you mean you're born again? You know, I wasn't judging nobody. It was just I wasn't finding others. And then I got online, and I started finding others like myself who had experienced God's love, beloveds, you know. Well, I started going deeper. I started looking into, because I knew that it was something physical that happens. Our bodies are made for one specific purpose, and that is to commune with God, right? And so I started looking into things like the Christ oil, you know, that it starts at your pituitary gland, your pineal gland, it goes down the spinal column, and then it comes back up the spinal column, you know, and there's 33 vertebrae in the back. Jesus was 33 years old, and I started looking into the temple of God and how it's laid out like Solomon, you know, and I was just like, wow, now this is getting too close. This is, you know, our bodies we are the temple of God. That's why you have to keep your DNA, the blueprint, undefiled. You don't change not one single nut or bolt or anything to that blueprint, all right? Otherwise, it's an abomination. But we are the temple of God. And I was like, wow, you know, and so I started looking into things, and I saw about the moon phases, where the moon is, you know, about when you become born again. And I discovered that the moon phase, the moon, had moved into my sign in the zodiac of my actual birth date at the exact moment that I experienced God. It started around 11:45, all right? I know there's going to be people out there right now, oh, you're into astrology and all that stuff. No, I'm not, okay? I just started studying, trying to figure out. I wanted to know what happened to me. You know, searching everything out, trying to figure it out, because none of these men called preachers, men of God, had any answers, and most of them didn't have a testimony. So then I got thinking about all this, Jeremiah 8:8, the lying pen of the scribes, and how they wrote lies in that Torah, and the prophets and the Psalms. And they also removed things, all right? And their interpreters interpreted lies, because when they'd go into captivity, they were in captivity for years and years. A lot of them didn't even speak Hebrew whenever they come out of captivity. There was just a select few. And so they could tell the people about anything they wanted to say, oh, that's what this means in Hebrew. And then everybody would learn Hebrew, and by then it had already been written out again, okay? They'd changed it, all right? So I was like, this is why they were telling people, stay away from the zodiac signs and all this stuff, okay? And looking into the moon cycles, because they used to go by the moon cycles for their Sabbaths. The Hebrews were really heavy into the moon cycles and the solar cycles. And I'm going to get deep into this. I'm just sharing this stuff with you for now. I told myself a long time ago, I said, whenever I have one person contact me privately, one person that figures it out, that will contact me and say, hey, Billy, I was checking out your born again date and your birth date, your real birth date and stuff, and I assume you're this and the zodiac sign, right? Whenever one person figures it out and talks to me about it, then I will start talking about this. And I have a good friend named David. I actually have two friends named David, but this one friend named David, he had contacted me the other day and said, hey, I know your born again date, and I figure your actual birth date is in April. You must be a Taurus, you know. And he said, have you ever heard about the Christ oil when it does this, and that? He said, because your testimony is identical to mine, and I researched this. I did everything looking into it, trying to figure out what happened to me. And I discovered this, and that. And I contacted him back. I said, you're the first one to figure it out. You got it. So now that was my sign to where I'm going to start talking about this stuff. All right? It is so amazing what God revealed to me in the hornets and the bees. Whenever I looked up the other day and saw the hornet's nest, and how bees are connected with the moon, all right? And the phases of the moon, all right? Y'all, this stuff is not New Age, okay? So many people live in fear. Oh, we can't look at that. We can't look at that. My preacher told me this, or they think the Bible says that you can't do this and you can't do that, okay? That was a trick to keep you dumb, to keep you uninformed, all right? All of this stuff about what really can happen to you to commune with God is there in the Bible. It's just hidden by the lying pen of the scribes and stuff. It's deep, deep down in there. But whenever the Spirit of God, the actual Spirit of God, awakens within you, He'll share all these secrets with you. For it's almost been 13 years now, you will not rest until you figure it out. You know, it's like Paul wrote, work your salvation out with fear and trembling. It wasn't really fear, it's reverence and awe. You got to work it out, and you're like, what happened to me? What happened to me? When it really happens to you, you will not rest until you figure it out, till God shares it with you. And so I'm going to start sharing it with you guys, because this is something that can really happen to you, and it has to happen to the world, okay? This has to happen, all right, in order for things to change. If it doesn't, things will never change. They'll always stay the same, and we'll be having this, just staying in this loop. This infinite time loop will stay here, and it'll never end. Anyway, I'm going to share this stuff with you guys as soon as I can. I promise. I've got to speak this Sunday, and I've got to speak the following Sunday, and I think I have a speaking engagement in between those days. And so I've got to get some stuff taken care of on that, but I'm going to try to get this done in the next few days. Anyway, I love you all. God bless.